watch the game. I'm on today. It was cool to get all the recognition, but I'm focused on Georgia. I was famous for about 24 hours. Now I'm just back to being Ray Davis, so that's all that matters.
Do you have to mentally prepare yourself for these teams coming towards you a little bit more after you have a breakout game like that?
I feel like yes and no. I still want to go into that game just playing another opponent, but I think it's also cool that I'm being able to going into playing Georgia with a team that's ready to compete and that's ready to go out there and dominate and try to shock the world and trying to take down the number one team in the country.
Ray, you've obviously been through a lot to get to this point. Is this kind of what you envisioned when you decided to come back and transfer to Kentucky for this year? I know you considered going straight to the NFL last year. Was this what you hoped for?
Yeah, it's crazy. I actually was on a podcast back in May with, and I was on a podcast back in May, and I actually, somewhat predicted that this could be a really good season for me. So, just kind of having that ability, just trusting myself and having that underdog type of mentality. I always have that betting on myself attitude. So I thought I was going to have this season. I've been able to have it so far. It's about just stacking on days and days.
You've talked a lot about the offensive line this year. A couple weeks ago, Eli Cox got the award. Now, Jeremy Flax. Just kind of talk about them getting recognized this year after the talks in the offseason.
I mean, they should have been getting recognized from day one, from when we were running the ball good in Ball State, EKU, etc. So, it's great to see those guys get some recognition and just finally get the awards and finally be able to show that these guys have been working so hard and all the criticism that they've been getting, that should stop. These guys are out here doing what they have to do and putting it on tape, and, hopefully it continues to go on as games continue to happen.
You said when you first come here that the offensive line in behind is definitely the best one you've been behind. And up until Saturday, I guess, maybe two or so. There may have been some doubts in people's mind about that, but is it good to see that come to fruition and you become a prophet about what you said?
I mean, yeah, I still have no doubt. From day one when I got here, I said this was the best O-line I ran behind, and it's still the best O-line I've ran behind. And I think, again, when you look at the negatives that we've had as a running game, that falls on me. That falls on the running back and not missing the holes and not seeing what we need to see. Again, if the days we do have good games, you got to give all credit to the O-line. They're creating holes, they're creating explosives for me to go and see that. But the days we don't have any good runs, they got to come at me for that. And I will fully take that. I will fully accept all that. And I think they should not discredit the O-line or none of that. If we're not running the ball well, that falls on me as a running back because I'm not seeing what we need to see.
When you've played against Georgia and these top teams of the SEC before, Kentucky's been competitive with them in the past, but have never really threatened to win. What's the key in going from competitive to beating these elite teams?
I wasn't here in the past. I don't know anything about the game. All I can do is speak on from watching it. I mean, looking at it in 2021, it was a very competitive game. Looking at it even in 2022, it was a very, very competitive game. So I look at it as, they're about 1 to 2 plays away from, shocking the world. And it's going to probably be like that this Saturday coming up. Probably going to be 1 to 2 plays that we got to be able to capitalize on, and we got the ability to shock the world, and then, going from there.
I heard the pumping the crowd noise in. You've played in these SEC environments before. Just kind of how hard is it to get ready for these environments?
It is. I mean, it's difficult. Being at Vanderbilt, and when we went there to Georgia last season, I got to experience a little bit of it. It was a day game, so it was still super loud. So I know with this being a night game, both of us being undefeated, I know it's going to be even more electrifying. So it's just about trying to silence all that and just focus on the play and what's going on and trying to execute my job.
This probably isn't a Georgia defense that has like 8 draft picks, but it's still a very good Georgia team. What have you seen from them on film?
They're aggressive. They're physical. You got the DBs who are downhill who are going to play the ball, and they're not scared of contact. You got the really, really good linebackers who are downhill linebackers. You have really good read sense. They know where the ball's going. They're not back gapping it. They're going to play downhill. They got the athleticism to play against you lateral and vertical. And then up front, I mean, Georgia's always been known to have really good D linemen, and so that's kind of what we have to expect from them to be aggressive. We got to match that aggressiveness, and if we come out there soft, we're not going to be able to do what we need to do.